Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SkateProud Chat. Thank you for taking your time on a Sunday and being here with us. Today, Dylan Moscovitch, Olympic figure skater from Canada, is going to be joining the chat. And Dylan is a very good friend of mine as well. We've shared so many years training together at the Toronto Cricket Club, and I'm sure he can bring us a lot of experiences of being like a very good friend and ally of the LGBTQ plus community in the figure skating. Dylan is a very good advocate as well for the program BU from Team Canada, and I hope he can tell us more about it. So I'm going to invite Dylan here, and he's going to join the chat very soon. Connecting. Hello.
Hola.
Oh, that's the quarantine beard.
Quarantine beard, yeah, it's my new look.
Oh wow, it looks good actually. Yeah,
Ah,
it's
gracias.
a new you.
A new me, yeah, new
How's
me.
it going?
It's going. It's
Yeah,
going. Yeah. How about you?
not bad, not bad. Can't
Not bad.
complain. It's a bit cold this today and yesterday, but
Yeah, yeah, we were having some really hot weather and,
yeah.
you know,
But
I
it's
guess
it's
it didn't
been
want to
pretty
stay.
good. It's been pretty good these past weeks.
Yeah.
Enjoying the weather, feeling more free. So yeah. Um, what you been up to these last days, these last weeks?
I've been trying to stay active and stay fit so I don't go crazy. And my fiance Sharon is still training for tennis, so we workouts a lot. I help her with her sometimes and try and stay focused on getting mine done. Other than that, screenwriting. I'm writing a movie. I'm writing a TV series I'm working on, and working on my acting stuff. I've done a couple speeches, co-hosted some stuff for Maccabi Canada, which is the Maccabi Games is the Jewish Olympics, and so
Oh
there's an organization in Canada, and I've helped do some interviewing with different people, and um, yeah,
that's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see
yeah.
you're swifting into this like TV and this art world, and it's very interesting. Yeah. So actually, what I wanted to talk with you about is like, well, as a figure skater, you've been like competing at the really top level, but now you are retired, and so you're being involved with all these other activities. So why don't you tell us a little bit like what are you driving to? Where are you going to in your life
Uh,
with?
I ask myself that every morning. uh, I'm trying to figure it out. It's I started when I was 3, retired at 33, so 30 years of the same thing.
30 years, that's crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy. Right now, I'm kind of taking it day by day
Yeah.
and discovering where I'm going with everything. But I'm staying involved with skating, part-time coaching, some seminars here and there, some motivational speaking, and also my show with Asher Hill on CBC, that figure skating show. So I get to kind of blend my love of television and storytelling and combine it with the figure skating world. So that's a lot of fun. And then with acting and writing, yeah, I guess I love storytelling. I love creating, and since I stopped skating, I've started understanding more my love for the arts and my creative side of my personality. So I
Yeah,
guess, yeah,
you
dedicating
are
my time to.
you're very creative. I
Nice.
remember when you tried like yeah at this skating club you were like
Yeah.
being like, okay, today I'm gonna make Spanish accent for my friend Raya. That was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a very interesting time when you retire. That's what we've been talking as well in other chats. Like, what do you do now? What do you do next? And where do you want to get? It's kind of difficult because you've been so focused your entire life to this competitive career with a very specific goal. and
Yeah.
afterwards, like I also like I'm asking myself, what are the next steps I want to take? What do I want to focus? I kind of like being also studying my life in my life, communications and media, and it's kind of like where I want to drive to, but
Mhm.
it's a difficult question, right? And but yeah, it's interesting. You're like doing a lot of things here and there.
Yeah, well, I think what I've learned the most is as athletes, we see things as like success or failure,
Yeah,
and we're very hard on ourselves that way, and it doesn't exactly work that way when you're coming out of the sport and you're it's like you're being reborn into a new life,
yeah,
and you have all these experiences and stories and lessons you learn to bring into your new life, but um, if you try and compare it too much to what you did and how you used to feel, you're going to be chasing something that's like chasing your tail. You're never going to catch it, you know?
yeah,
So I found for me, one of the most important things has been taking the time to just like allow myself to go through the ups and downs and to try new things and not worry so much about the failure aspect and the am I being successful, am I doing the things right. It's more exploring and finding, who is Dylan without skating every day and that same goal, and what is going to make me inspired and motivated, and what can I give to the world after skating, like what's my contribution. And so I think that's been it's been interesting.
yeah. It's interesting, for sure. But as you said, like you gotta try new things and don't be too hard on yourself, and that's where the growth comes. That's when you grow.
Mhm.
So talking about your skating career, I want to go back to when everything started, like being a Canadian figure skater. Why do you choose figure skating instead of hockey, which is like, let's say, the average of a stereotype that every guy do when
Yeah, I played competitive hockey. I played
okay,
competitive baseball and soccer while I was growing up. I was a very busy kid. I played musical
everything.
instrument. I was nonstop, and I'm the oldest of four, and so my poor mother, all four of us were like nonstop, multiple sports and activities, and all over the place. Um, I think I don't know. I think when I was young, I fell in love with skating, and it just became my identity. It was how I saw myself, was as a figure skater, and I loved other sports, but figure skating was just kind of like I knew. I didn't even have to
It's
think
peaks.
about it. It clicked, and I think it was a combination of being a performer and you have the artistic component, you have music, you have these characters you get to play. It's like kind of like being in your own short movie, and it's jumping is very difficult, and skating is a sport that takes a long time to get better, and so it becomes addictive. And I'm a very like competitive person, so if I didn't get it, I would be hungry to try again and try again and try again. And I think that's how I fell in love with figure skating. My mom said, she asked me when I was 5 if I want to go to the Olympics. I said, no, I want to win the Olympics. So I kind of was always just in it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's good to hear that. And when you choose figure skating in a country where hockey is such a big sport, I mean, you've tried them all,
Hmm.
but in the end, you stick with figure skating,
Hmm.
and yeah. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that. When you were growing up, even though you identify yourself as a straight man, that you're a friend and ally of the LGBTQ plus community, when you were a kid, I wanted to see if you did suffer any kind of like discrimination or like, kind of like
Bullying.
bullying
Yeah.
because you were a figure skater,
Of course.
and
Of
like they were
course.
using this, like
Yeah. I mean, kids can be mean, you know, they
yeah,
can. It's I think part of growing up, kids learning social understandings. Some of it is, they're raised by their parents and their beliefs are taught to them. No kid
yeah,
grows up hating or discriminating. They learn that. But culturally, in North America, that's how figure skating was seen, as a sport for girls.
yeah,
Yeah, and of course, I went through difficult times playing hockey, playing baseball, being on those teams, and having to explain it all the time. Like, isn't that a sport for girls? And like, why do you wear tights and all this, stupid stuff. And then in high school, I had a couple bad run-ins, situations that were not good. And a couple guys ended up not liking me. And then because of that, I was bullied quite a bit. One guy got kicked out of school. So it was, I definitely had my experiences where I was treated differently just because of the sport I did. Um, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
I think this is why this conversation today is so important, to see that, of course, figure skating is a sport that has a big stereotype, and it's wrong, and it affects you, even though nowadays, today, as you said, so you're a straight guy and you're a friend and ally of the community, but even yourself, because you were doing this sport when you were a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and other kids were doing hockey, and it was not, you did suffer bullying and discrimination, and this is wrong. And it's about education, and it's where we want to get to with this project, and we want to help to other kids to see that, they are not alone, and that this is a community and we help each other, and that your example here today is very important as well, to see that even yourself, you did suffer, and you had to go through these difficult moments to where you got in your sport, in your
Yeah.
career.
I mean, honestly, it was in some ways it was a gift because it taught me to be tough. And I think, if you want something badly enough, who cares what anyone
You
thinks?
have to go
And
through all this stuff.
yeah, and
It's not fair, it's not right, but
it's not.
it is, and we trying to change, but
Yes. And I think it would be a lot better if people never have to go through that.
there is no this judgment, these stereotypes. Like, just do your life, and as a kid, like, you don't even know what's all this, what's going on. Why do they say this? And like, it doesn't make sense to you. You're just doing this sport because you love it, and like,
Yes.
why is this
Yes.
going on, right?
Well, what's the difference between an actor wearing a costume in a movie or on stage versus a figure skater doing the same thing? It's just we wear more sparkles because the TV lights make it
Yeah, make shiny.
reflect. Yeah, of course.
But it's just like, yeah.
It is what it is. It's silly. It's stupid, and a lot of it comes from misinformation. Kids being taught the wrong things or just having a bad understanding about things. And I think it's getting better. But at the same time, I would tell any kid, no matter what anyone says to you, if this is something you love, screw them. Like, forget it. It doesn't matter. They're 10 years down the road, they're going to think differently about it. I've had, after high school later, I've had people who I bumped into that were not nice to me in high school come and, congratulate me, and they wanted to talk about my life and all these things. And people hopefully eventually grow up. And I think it's so important that you place what you love ahead of the opinions of others who really don't have that big of a role in your life anyways.
That is completely true. And I feel they later on, they grow, they realize, but it's something that it has to come from, I don't know, education, their parents. And you, let's say one day you have kids, and what would you try to educate them with to be, like, respectful and not judgmental towards whatever other people, other kids are doing, like when they go to school, and be themselves and let other kids do whatever they want to do.
I mean, I think I would teach them to love everybody the same. Everyone experiences life differently. Everyone experiences love differently. Everyone is born differently, but we're all the same. And as a species, we are better if we work together because of our differences, not in spite of our differences. And I think when the human race can finally figure that out, we'll stop with all this bullshit, because it's like, it wastes time, it wastes energy, it wastes resources. It's like the amount of time that people spend fighting over things that don't matter. And just because people want to live their lives the way that they feel it's true to them, it's ridiculous to me. I don't understand what the big problem is, but
And
I
this
would
is too many social issues that we're living today, and yeah, we can relate that to many things.
many things,
Uh,
and you can see there's a big, hopefully, a big shift in societies across the world right now. I'm hoping that this time is getting people to really think and wake up and see what's actually happening, and the way that we're taught to not question, and the way we're not taught to not look deeper into what's going on. And there's a lot of bad systemic hate going on, and whether it's racism or homophobia, prejudice in all sorts of forms, religion, all of it.
yeah,
It's like deep rooted in the way the structure is set up for society, and it teaches people to feel these like prejudice feelings towards other people without even knowing it. And our actions become, an extension of those things, because we're not taught, we're taught to, or told to not question it. But I think with everything happening with COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement right now, especially in the U.S., but in Canada too, it's very important, and around the world. You're starting to see people wake up, myself included. I was always proud of the fact that I'm an open person and I don't judge people, but it also made me realize that's not enough. I've always been an advocate and spoken up for against homophobia, for an inclusivity in sports. And I love speaking at schools and talking about my experience. Some of the most important people in my life are from the community. Eric Radford, he's my best friend. He lived with me, and if I didn't have acceptance of these people, my life would be
empty.
it wouldn't be the same life. It would be, I'd be missing so many big pieces.
Yeah.
So I really hope that humanity takes this time we've been given to really reassess the way we look at things, and not just like inside our head, but the way we act and the way we allow things to go on that shouldn't happen, and start speaking up and start doing more to prevent bad things from happening.
That was like the speech of the year, I would say. No, like perfect. But it's true.
It's the beard. It gives me wisdom.
It's just more wise. It's
Yeah.
So talking about your skating career, Eric Radford,
Mm-hmm.
your best friend, one of your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
You've shared so much with Eric. You basically had like a parallel career, growing and like going to the same competitions, going to the Olympics in Sochi, winning a silver medal at the team event, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And many more competitions and experiences. But the most important part I want to talk about is what you shared as a friend with him, and him discovering and accepting himself as a gay man, and you as a friend, and being supporting with him, and being growing up together and discovering the world. And what did that mean to you? What was this experience for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to start even before that, I just saw my mom commented on there. She's, "Hey, mom, my mom's younger brother. I have an uncle in South Africa, and he's gay, and so I grew up aware and understanding. I mean, growing up in figure skating, for sure, you're exposed to it, but that doesn't mean you embrace it. But Eric and I became very close friends very quickly, and he was kind of in the middle of his transformation. He's, I'm sure a lot of people know Eric's story or watched him speak with you, but he's from a small town, and he was living with my family for a while, and he would like toy with me. He's like, "I have a secret to tell you, but I can't tell you till I'm 40 or else I have to kill you." And so he would like, make me try and dig it out of him. And of course I knew,
Yeah.
he was my best friend. Of course I knew. But it was a very interesting experience to kind of be that close to that transformation, and having someone learn to embrace and accept who they are and how they feel. And it taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about about going through struggles and defining yourself and having the courage to define yourself and to be brave. And I'm very proud of him because he was the first open gay figure skater, which in my mind is insane because we've had so many iconic gay figure skaters over the years that just it wasn't safe for their career to come out. And it's wild to me that it took that long, but I've had so many incredible experiences being tied to Eric's life in that way. I went with him and his husband Luis. This was before they got married, but I went with them to Pride in Madrid, and I saw you there, and I was in Madrid for a week, and it was
together, yeah.
wild. It was amazing. So much fun. There's so much energy, and people just are excited to be alive and living and celebrating.
About you, like exactly you as a straight guy and like coming with your gay friends and going to the Pride and celebrate and embrace it and have a good time, and it's all about sharing a good time with your friends and accepting everybody.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, love is love, and however you feel that, whatever that means to you, like every single person, regardless of your sexual orientation, feels love differently. So how can you pinpoint it into different categories and say one is right and one is wrong? It doesn't even make sense. Whatever you feel, whoever you are, that's right for you. And I think that should be celebrated, especially when it was, seen as a bad thing. And so many people went through so much struggle and so much pain to get their voices heard. I'm definitely going to be on the side of the people that, are celebrating the fact that they're finally getting rights. And for me, it's an honor to be part of it, for sure. I love it.
I think we all need a Dylan in our lives.
I'll clone myself.
You're a great example of a friend and ally, and I have the luck to experience that with you, even everyday training and feeling comfortable with you, and I was able to be myself and not like have to hide or have to like cut myself or whatever way I'm expressing myself. But I feel this is very important, and although figure skating is a very accepting sport, we still have a lot to work on. We have bad examples, even recent examples, and it's something that we together can do and can help to improve it. And yeah, so you being a friend, ally of Eric Radford, a great example, growing together. I'm sure you've been a very important part of his life also to support and help him, to accepting and growing. And yeah, so talking about prides, talking about the Team Canada and the program Be You that they have. You are also an advocate for that. You've been like collaborating a lot with them, and you've been an advocate for their program. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, kind of like I'm doing right now, just speaking as an ally. I think it's important to have the conversations so that you break away the discomfort and the things that maybe people have these ideas because they're not educated or they've been taught to think a certain thing, and if they don't have any friends from the community or experienced it, there's like prejudice built in. And for me, it's something I'm passionate about, just human rights in general. And I do motivational speaking on the side, and so what I've done is I've gone on behalf of BU and You Can Play and gone to a few high schools and done some talks about my experience as an athlete, but also my experiences as an ally, and my journey through the sport with Eric and with my other friends from the community, and how it's affected me and how it's colored my life a lot, and just understanding, just
For sure,
bringing the conversation forward so the awareness is there, so it's not like taboo, it's not this stigma, it's not this like scary thing that people are too scared to It's just a thing. So I think the more you talk about these important things, the more people become comfortable. If they have questions, maybe they feel less ashamed for not knowing. I just, I do what I can where I can, and that's I'm happy to do that.
What is so great is that for you it's so normalized as it should be, and you feel comfortable about it, and as you said, you're not judgmental, and you embrace it, and you is a friend, is you don't see farther than what his sexual preference is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but for sure you're being an advocate trying to make a world a better place. And yeah, and I remember last year we went to Pride together in Toronto. You were with your girlfriend as well, both of you celebrating together, and it was such a great time, to be all together, friends, and it's all the what it's about. And that's why the month of Pride is important, to take action, but also to celebrate, to normalize, to be together and united.
And
So,
to remember how far it's come.
yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things, because if you forget, society can easily slip backwards.
Hmm.
Human nature is like this up and down, darkness, lightness balance that can get out of balance quickly. And as you can see, one event can lead to like 10 more events, and it can go in either direction. And I think it's important to remember our history so that we can make sure we don't repeat the mistakes over and over. And I think also it's really important during something like Pride to, it's not just about LGBTQ communities. It's about acceptance in general in society, and treating everybody with love and respect regardless. And I think all of these movements have that same
Yeah,
importance, because it's reminding people to like take yourself out of your own shoes. You are one person out of like almost like what 8 billion in the world. You're like, we're all part of something bigger than ourselves.
exactly.
Get off your high horse and realize that there are so many people who need support, and we can all create a world where everybody's happy if we just accept each other and do it on
Without
purpose.
discrimination, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's what it's about, and that's what we're trying to get this community together. As you said, this the Black Lives Matter movement that is going on, and is very important and has a lot of similarities. And in our community, what we're fighting for is exactly for non-discrimination, to be
Mm-hmm.
inclusive, to support everybody, and especially to respect everybody. So yeah, Dylan, I think this is very much what we wanted to get, well, this message, and we wanted to hear from you, your story as an advocate, a friend, and ally of the community. And so I want to say thank you very much for your time. It was really great to hear you. Although I know your story, but it's good to know even more about you and your support. And it feels great that you're part of the community. And thank you very much again. If you want to
Oh,
say something to the people.
yeah. Thanks for having me. It's it's an honor to be able to speak on behalf of the movement and my friends that I love so much, and will do anything to support. And I love what you're doing. So thanks for using your voice to kind of create more change. And
We try.
yeah, well, that's all you can do, right? That's all
Exactly.
you can do. So yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It's always nice to see your face.
Of course. I hope to see you around soon when we can
Yep.
socialize a little more,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
right? But yeah, well, take care. I
You
hope
too.
everybody's good around you and safe. So yeah.
For sure. All right.
Okay,
Thanks.
Dylan,
Thanks
thank
for
you very
stopping by, guys.
Okay,
See you,
take
buddy.
care. Bye.